You've been playing Lorcana wrong for the past 4 months. Good evening, Inkspilled Glimmers, and welcome to this Infinity-themed episode. Drew, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So, we've been to Milwaukee,
Yep.
and core sucked. Let's be frank.
Yeah, Fabled meta was really weak.
And we came to like set 10 now, and core is doing better, to be fair,
Much better.
but it's still like Purple City. Like even as we speak, we just had a big CCQ come by where Zan won with Ember Amethyst combo.
Yeah, well, I think we should address that maybe like next
No, no,
week
no. Like
when
we will,
the.
but basically right now it's every color with Amethyst just wins.
Well, our like with our team, our understanding of the situation was like, are you playing blue, purple, or
Steel,
steel? In which combination?
yeah, pretty
It's
much.
pretty much how you want to go about it.
But as we were getting ready for this episode, preparing for the Infinity Weekend that's coming this weekend, something stroked me. First of all, the metagame in Infinity is so much wider, so much more diverse. But more importantly, the decks, like the top decks, are between $100 and $200. Like I don't think there's a single top deck over $200 right now.
Yeah, it's like it's quite great because the prices on the cards from set 1 to 4 went down a whole lot since they were in core. You know,
Okay,
like
I'm lying. There, like in what we're about to present, there's a few over 200 because of some cards um,
from core.
from core, but like it's very possible to build very good meta decks for under $200, which is really amazing given how much more open the metagame is and how much more exciting the gameplay is as well.
Like you would expect looking at other games when you see like older formats. Older formats are generally like more expensive. You look at
Yeah,
Magic, like you look at Magic, a standard deck is about a couple $100, which is a lot to say, and I hate saying it, but like a modern deck is more in the lines of like 1,000, maybe even $2,000, depending on what you're playing. Like it can get quite expensive. Playing an
a
eternal
vintage or a
form.
legacy, like the very old formats, it's like tens of thousands.
Yeah, exactly. I was not even like gonna talk about it, but like playing the eternal format for a budget, that's just great. Like you're playing, like you feel like you're playing a more powerful format. Like you'll be seeing when we present the decks, you'll be seeing older cards that we were seeing a few months ago in core that we haven't been seeing for the past like 6-ish months, which like we might be missing. Um, like you're thinking of like be prepared, Sisu, good removal like let the storm rage on and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're gonna see oldies but goodies. You're gonna see cards you might have missed playing, but more importantly, you're gonna see a really fun game. And as much as it sucked not to do well on day one for the core format in Milwaukee, I had a lot more fun playing in the Infinity. Even like I didn't have the most diverse day two. A lot of my games were mirror matches with Ember Steel, and then I ran into like a few blue, red, and blue steals. But even those matches were still way more intense and thrilling than a lot of my like day one games where it was so much of the same that I was bored to death about it.
Yeah, no, but tell me about it. Like I played a whole lot against Blue Steel, which was probably one of my worst matchups in the Infinity tournament. But even there, it was kind of like the uphill battle of like trying to scratch wins, which I could, compared to some of the matches in core in the last format where you just couldn't. Like
Yep.
I was on Blurple, and if I was seeing like Ember Steel, I knew that my odds were really, really bad.
Yeah, so let's jump into what I will say is an incomplete metagame for the Infinity Weekend because almost all the data points we have for Infinity are from the Fabled metagame. So if we jump right here into Index, which has a meta, um, like a metagame breakdown for both Core and Infinity, well, also Lorcana, but Core and Infinity, uh, you can see that the data points we have are for the Fabled metagame. So there's no new cards in any of the decks that they have on the books because there hasn't been major tournaments to shape the metagame. I'm sure that's going to change after this weekend.
Yeah, you had like three major tournaments, I think, with the Fable meta
Yeah,
for Infinity, and like maybe that you have some really, really minor stuff for Whispers.
yeah. So there's not even like a metagame. If you look for Whispers in the Wild metagame, you go into Core. It doesn't even have like an Infinity metagame right now on the site. But you still have an overview of what people were playing for like the past big few events. And at the top, Blue Steel with both Hiram and Fortisphere legal. Not very surprising, but we're gonna see. There's a few new twists that you can do with Whispers in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ember Steel aggro, preying on a lot of the control decks, making sure everything is right and balanced.
Yep.
There again, like a few good tools from Whispers that can be added. We're gonna go in this. Blue red items coming up a lot more than Shark, and that was also true at Milwaukee. Like I saw two or three item deck. I didn't see a lot of Shark decks. Not as powerful in Infinity, I would say, if you have to choose between the two.
To be fair, Shark was really popular once Hiram was banned.
Yeah,
Like it played Hiram when you had access to it, but it kind of survived because you didn't have any Hirams to play after the ban.
yeah. Steel Song, which is the deck you brought to Milwaukee,
Yep.
and which has one really, really interesting deck from Fable, which we're going to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Churn which is a little bit up in the air, I will say. We worked a bit on it, but I'm not sure where this list really lands, especially with Hiram being like there.
Kind of feels just like a core deck that you added some old
Yeah,
cards and like this is what lower tier 2 and tier 3 as you see on the screen right now, that's how they feel, like they feel like just core decks or old decks that you kind of just repurposed.
kind of. And if that's what you have, like especially for the next one, which is Amethyst Steel, if you currently have a good core Amethyst Steel deck, you're like 95% of the way to a decent Infinity deck. Just add the bounce package in it, and you're pretty much there.
Yeah, it's gonna
But
cost you like $12 getting like
yeah,
12 cards and that's about it.
and you can see before the additions of like the Hades and the Dumbos and everything, like that deck was at $89 average price for the last metagame.
Hmm.
And the last deck we're going to touch on today is, well, Diablo Tribal, but Amethyst Emerald discard, which has gotten like one or two little spices that are actually really, really fun for people who like discard.
Yep. I think it's a better discard deck if you still want to play discard in this format, which
Yeah.
you probably should. It's like it's not an archetype that's available in core anymore, so have fun with this.
Although especially if you're expecting a lot of blue steel with Hiram on the board, like controlling the draw power of blue steel with discard is still an uphill battle. But so let's jump right into it with this list from Boba for set 10. I know you have a few points on it, but we decided not to touch it because it's actually a list we found pretty decent.
Yep.
You can see, if we go into it, the main changes from what we were seeing pre-rotation. You have one Robot Queen that can be recurred with Tamatoa, and that can do into some really, really fun plays where so you can play the Tamatoa, resolve the Robot Queen's ability to pay one, banish her, deal two damage, and then resolve Tamatoa and bring back the Robot Queen to your hand. So that's why she's there as a one of. You have the Hink Runners, so more card draw in the deck and alert to deal with a bunch of the evasives.
And also, like, don't mistake it. Like, I was like about one week old ago when I discovered that you don't have to crack the Ink Runner to give alert. It's just like
Oh yeah, no, you just
repeatable.
tap it. You just exert it.
Yeah, it's just I played it wrong in pre-release.
Two spooky sights, so now you even have some early board wipes in purple in
Blue Seal.
Sapphire Steel, Blue Steel. And finally, some Cinderellas, which I know you were debating before we recorded this, so I'll let you go at it.
Yeah, so like I see what the deck wants to be doing. I saw the Cinderellas. I see why they added Mulans, and like Belle was already there in the version from Fable meta. I think the card is still a huge ramp power. I'm not quite sure if four of them is as I want to say efficient as going to Flaversham that is just gonna find you anything you want. Like Flaversham finds you two cards a turn, while she only like kind of digs for one, will ramp you in exchange. Um, I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's I would have to try it. I might very well be bringing this to the weekend. I don't know how many Cindy's I'll be playing in it. Maybe I'll be going down on some Cindy's and trying other cards because also as you were seeing in the items package, there was only three of Fishbone Quill.
Yep.
Also in the songs package, uh, like what I don't like here is you have String of Raging Fire as a times four and no strength.
No Let the Storm.
No, Let the Storm. Sorry, Let the Storm is very good with Belle since
Yes.
she's a pseudo Cindy in the Sapphire. Whilst Strength is like we are cutting Strength from Blue Steel and Core right now because it's not a very good Strength deck. So I'm still debating like the decks are very similar, and Strength is not as at his peak. So
Yep. But you can see how very easily, like, turn one, you're going to draw a card, replace the popsicle in your hand, leave it there, maybe play a bell. If not, it's still laying there, either pops or for the sphere. Turn two, you're probably going to ramp because this is still a blue deck at its core. And then turn three, Flaversham. Like,
you should probably mulligan accordingly to
yeah.
ramping on turn two, as you
And
would
then,
do
yeah,
in
turn three,
core.
Flaversham starts drawing two right away and just starts, like, going completely ham on everything that's going on. And one of the cards that is not here, but is going to be in one of the other decks, is Might Solve a Mystery. So, like, that's also something you could be playing with because you have the item package. Um, we're going to be talking about it more in blue red, but like if you're wondering what to play there, if maybe you don't have the Cindy's or the budget to put them in, Might Solve a Mystery is a really good draw too. You can sing of Hiram if you don't have an item.
Yeah, or just with Scrooge too.
Yep.
So I I find this card really interesting. Like even going as far as considering it for core at the moment, but like we'll focus on Infinity. It is in the blue red list we will be showing you, and I think it's great when like a third of your deck is about I want to say a quarter of your deck is items. I mean a third of your deck is items. The other two thirds are characters and like
Mostly characters, yeah.
yeah. So you're always gonna be hitting and like depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to go larger or because here what I don't like about the list is the Cindy sacrifices the ability to be playing Hades, which is still a powerhouse even in Infinity.
Yeah,
Because okay, it costs 7, but it is very efficient at removing stuff.
it is, and with more and more graveyard stuff existing, with more and more uh, banishment triggers or stuff like that, like you want the effective banishment that just putting into the inkwell gives you.
Mm. And as I was telling you before we started rolling the camera, like my comment on that list was because you guys know I love my Cinderella Stout-Hearted. If you're going to be playing like 4 Cinderella Dreams Come True, just throw in the one or two Stout-Hearted. Like you're gonna just do ravages with that.
Yeah, she's a good shift for that. Like for sure. In the right matchup, just Cinderella on 3 basically, and then on 4 you shift the Cinderella and you have this 5/5 resist. What 3 resist 2?
It
Like
raises two, yeah.
resist 2. The quest for 3. Like she's still a monster.
Yeah, she enables herself. That's what's amazing about it. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be playing the Cinderella, play Stout Hearted. You're gonna just go zoom zoom.
And if you want to go even more zoom zoom, you can go with Ember Steel Aggro, which here as well we went with Boba Fett's list. It's a very serviceable starting point. You can absolutely play with it, but I really love the 4 Mowglis in it. I really love the package of Pluto into Raja into Mickey Ember Champion, which I don't know if you have tried it or seen it, but I've had the pleasure of both playing it and seeing it in play, and it is one hard to deal with combo if the opponent is not playing Be Prepared. So
Yeah,
this is a very interesting mix of aggro, where if you're against like blue red or a Be Prepared deck, you can absolutely Daisy into Piglet into Lady Smee to like flood the board, go to 20 as fast as possible. And if you're against more of a steel package, well then you can Pluto into Raja into Mickey into starting to deploy your threat with these like 6 toughness bodyguards and 4 toughness Piglet and like 6 toughness Daisy and just be like, yeah, try, like, have fun.
and they're not gonna take them out in one turn. So Rapunzel is just like crazy nuts value.
Exactly. And, you know, the Ember Champion stack.
Oof, oof, oof. I want to see.
My son was playing the Ember Steel, like Steel Song set 10 just to try it out. And there's one game where he had like all 4 Ember Champions out. Like he went like Ember Champion into Ember Champion into Ember Champion into Ember Champion. And it was like, yeah, okay, my characters all have like 15 toughness.
Yeah, find some hard removal, please, because you're not gonna get through them.
And against blue red, well, you have the option of just going wide and then drop a Mowgli the turn that they're preparing to be prepared. And if it's
Or
the only
Pete.
action they have, the only non character they have, well, you're probably winning the game right away, right?
Yeah, Pete too does a good job, like as he has always done. So
Exactly. So this is the aggro deck. It is amazingly efficient. The version that was ran last set was running usually 2 copies of Vinny, which you can absolutely still do, but at already 16 uninkable, it's already a bit high. You're probably gonna have to make decisions somewhere as to what you're cutting. But you know, turn 1 Cinderella into Let the Storm is still a really good start in a lot of cases. Um, there's a lot to do here. Probably the cut would be like 2 Plutos to put 2 Vinnies if you were gonna do that. It's still a bit of a sacrifice.
yeah, and if you want to add some resilience, you can also play with the new Rapunzel. I think she's more of a core card, but I mean the two drop Rapunzel
The,
legendary
the one
from
with support.
yeah. So I think she's interesting, but she's more of a core card if you
Yeah.
ask me.
And to those surprised to see the Aurora here, because there's not a ton of princesses, but being able to play a free Mulan or a free Cinderella, like that extra card that you're able to play while having the tempo of questing, is really good for like going wide and being able to drop a dock early to refuel and just keep the ball rolling.
Mm.
So it's a good extra one drop to have. It's not mandatory by any means, but yeah, like it fuels the board really, really fast.
I think she's way better in the Steel Song list that we're gonna
Yeah,
look at.
she is.
But because I had the pleasure of really exploring the potential of that card, and like I'm gonna talk about it, you're gonna see how excited I get about it. But yeah, no, she's still good. Just playing free cards, you don't really get to do that in Lorcana a lot. So
No. But if you were to cut her for any reason, a fourth piglet and three Lilos is probably what I would do. Like a little bit more two drops that can be dropped with Lady, but also some recursion with like if you're getting a Be Prepared, well, having a Lilo or two in the discard is never a bad thing after a Be Prepared
mm, mm,
to close out the game. So that's aggro, and we're gonna touch on Turn a Dog in a bit. But really, if your plan is to go aggro, this is probably the better one of the two.
and also like the list is not super expensive.
Yeah,
Like
no, like that's
if you
$160 considering they're putting the $13 version of the Aurora here.
like you're I think you're sub $100 if you're changing the version. I'm pretty sure.
Probably around 100, most of
Yeah,
it being the Rapunzels.
yeah.
So no, fairly affordable list here. And even like this one, if you remove the Cinderellas, you're already cutting like almost $150.
Yeah, does
Because the
go
rest of
fast.
it, like really, there's nothing here that is crazy expensive. Like the Tamatoas are
Tempo.
$20, but it's still fairly affordable. Now, if we go into blue red, so Seesaw and Coil, because there's no more ice cubes on it,
Yep.
but basically the new version of Seesaw on Ice. So for those that might remember it, turn one, Popsicle, turn two, Tipo, turn three, IRM, and from there,
Draw
sky's the
into your
limit.
draw into your removal, into your engine, into whatever you want to be doing at
Into
that
like
point.
having a coil, inking, playing the Sisu to remove everything they have and just control the board into oblivion until you quest to a million, either just with your threats or with like your one not lucky dime.
Yeah.
That is as controlly a matchup as there is. But as we were talking a bit earlier, we have Might Solve a Mystery as a new card in this deck.
Which I think is like amazing. Like the ratios are just so good for the card to work, to always be a draw two, to finding you like an item, probably just something that will redraw or feed your Hiram, and something that will be a follow up play.
Yeah, because if you have like Might Solve a Mystery into a Popsicle, play the Popsicle, draw a card, quest with Hiram, draw two cards, and you also have a character from that.
Like you might go up and pick up six drop Tamatoa, or even the eight drop
Yeah,
Tamatoa, a shark or whatever.
and in this deck in particular, being able to look for the right removal is key. Like sometimes you need your Medusa or you need your like your big Sisu to clear up aggro or like even a small Sisu sometimes. But you having access to looking at the top four, taking basically two out of them is a really really powerful effect for this deck.
Hmm.
And yeah, this deck like at 200 as well. So and that's
Playing the promos,
playing the promo bells. So
bells.
yeah, no, like
Yeah, cut about sixty
oh
dollars
no, it's
for.
not okay. It's not counting it because when you look at it, like that's 80 and that's 100. So
Okay,
they're not cutting it in that price at least.
Okay, that's fine, but still, like the deck is by no means super expensive. It's quite available. If you had some of those cards from last format, like
Yep,
Hirems are not very expensive. Sisus are way down since they
way
were
down. Even the sharks, like the sharks, used to be around 45 to 50 USD.
now they're 25.
Yeah.
Like
And yes, so if you like control, this is the most controlly matchup there is. It's a really great deck. It's what usually fills up a lot of the top eight of those Infinity events. It is like a very powerful deck,
mhm.
but still a blast to play, and not the worst to play against either. You usually have a fair shot against it, even though it's gonna grind you, it's gonna win. But if you don't like your opponents being salty at you for playing your cards, this is not the deck that people are going to be the saltiest about when you
No.
play. It's not discard, which we're going to talk about in a bit.
Yeah. But the next deck, this is the one that really excites me because
Yeah.
that's what I played in Milwaukee. I think it was about this list with some tweaks here and there.
So, Steel Song, do you want to talk about the main additions from sets 9 and 10? Well, mostly set 9 in this case.
Yeah, like people are calling it Princess Steel Song because you have a really big core of princesses with Aurora being really the driving force of the deck. You always are looking for an Aurora on turn one. If you like, Cindy's actually the second best play
Yeah.
in that deck. The second best turn one play because Aurora just enables you to do so many busted things. You can either go
Ariel turn 2, which,
Ariel turn two is just like amazing. You have some lines that are just phenomenally crazy where you can have two Auroras and a Cindy and drop a Stout Hearted if you're playing her on turn three. That's
yeah.
I said enough. And the other big pickup from set number 9 is the Queen, the 3-drop Queen with support. Don't forget she has support because the deck is built in a way that she enables
World's Greatest Criminal Mind.
World's Greatest Criminal Mind to be a hard removal. But also the start of turn effect is really cool, where you can just like discard some one drops, maybe like the one drop Queen, which you have the shift in the deck to go find an Ariel if you need to be finding a song. You can find a big Ariel. We have Namari in there. I like playing Cinderella Stout Hearted. You can
Yes.
recur these. You can recur Rapunzel's. Like sky's the limit at that point with
Yeah,
what you can do.
you can bring back a lot of your value engines. So like your whole new worlds don't hurt as much because what you're putting in the discard you can basically pick up the next turn if you needed it. And now it's safe in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Your whole new world is basically like if you had to discard something, you can just swap out afterwards as you wish.
Yeah, no, it's a really good addition to the deck. And between the Ariels and the Shift Queens, you can still do like turn 2, turn 3 whole new world like we did with Robin before. So that is still very impactful against certain like I don't want to say combo decks, but decks that really rely on planning.
Oh,
If
I
you think of Blue Steel, like 2, 4, 6, well, you're
I, I
going
played
first against the blue deck. You wheel their hand, you remove their ramp. Oh well.
generally the way I won against Blue Steel, the games I won against it in Milwaukee was by wheeling them on turn two,
Yeah,
cutting them from ramp, and then they were like, what am I doing now?"
yeah. So it's a really fun package for those who miss Steel Song. It is pretty much the Steel Songiest deck there is.
Oh, you
Uh,
I have to talk about the amazing 1-2 punch you can do by whole new worlding with like I don't know, an aerial, and then just destroying your opponent's hand with the Beyond the Horizon.
Beyond the Horizon.
It's a one of. It's gonna come up quite sometimes. You're gonna just like hold your world into that. You still have enough board to be singing the Beyond the Horizon, and you just feel like you have an enormous brain because you drew 7 and you just like kind of milled your opponent for 7. So
And then you're like, yeah, discard it all, draw 3.
yeah, no, they're
So
they're
no,
very
definitely
down
some
on.
fun play, some fun lines of play. No real reason here to be playing He Heralded his Thunderbolts instead of Zeus. There's no deity to buff, there's no nothing, so just stick with Zeus.
Yeah, it's 1 more damage.
Yep. But no, it's like, for those nostalgic about this deck, it is still very, very good in this meta. Of course, blue-red is blue-red. Like,
You're gonna
if,
lose to
if
blue
it
red.
sticks too long, they're going to overrun you. But if they go into like drawing too much, you can always build them.
Yeah, the matchup is still quite hard, but by experience, I'm telling you that the Aurora adds a lot of velocity to what you're doing, and they are not able to deal quite so easily with something big as a aerial Sonic Warrior on turn 3,
Yeah.
or like I said, Cinderella Stout Hearted on turn 3 or 4. Like they struggle against that a lot more, and it's a lot of pressure to put on them. So you might win. Like I played only once against Blue Red in Milwaukee and actually won the matchup, which I was kind of flabbergasted about. But
And for those wondering about the 2-2 of Troubadour and Ursula, I would advise people to pick the one they prefer and go with it. Usually people would go with Ursula because of the synergy with Rapunzel, being able to have 3 damage on her. But, like, choose the one you think will work the best for your situation. Both are basically the same if you forget that scenario. Of course, Troubadour will take damage more slowly. But apart from that, like I personally would go with Vanessa because of the Rapunzel synergies in the current environment.
it's very minimal min maxing at this point,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
what your metagame looks like. If you see a bit more steel, maybe you like the Troubadour a bit more. If you see anything that is more like board based, go with the Ursula. She'll pick up more damage to be able to get the most value of Rapunzel. So
And also, if you're worried about the 14 inks, which I am a little bit, the Naveen is probably one of the places I would cut first.
yeah,
Like cutting at least one Naveen to go an extra Sonic Warrior or a Stout Hearted is probably what I would do.
that's basically the list I was running. Like
Yeah.
cut one Naveen, put Stout Hearted. That's about it.
Excellent. Churnadogs, it's Churnadog. Like, the list hasn't changed that much. It feels like a core list with a few more tools.
It feels like the love child of the set 8 list with the present list.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, you have a lot of core cards that you're mixing up with the cards you were playing back in set 8. Like,
You're basically adding the piglets, the crickies,
the
and
Rapunzels,
Churnadog itself, and Churnabog, sorry.
Turnabog.
But it's a list that is going to struggle a little bit to go under both Sisu and Be Prepared. So, like, red decks are going to be a major, major issue for this list because you're not as fast as Ember Steel is able to be, and you're not as resilient either, really. So, once you're empty ended, sure, you can top deck the Chernabog and like try to cheese it out, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's. I want to say it's hard because I struggle to see in which matchup you feel really favored. Like Ember Steel goes under you, you really have to rely on your underdices to be able to take the board.
And you
If
need to
you
be able to sing them, which, with Sonic Warrior, they're able to deal with a lot of the board very easily.
Well, that's in Steel Song. I was talking about like Ember Steel aggro.
Oh, Ember Steel aggro. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Also, like uh, Blue Steel kind of doesn't worry about your plan. They have like good ways to trade one for one, to get the tools that they want. They get their engine going really fast. Blue red, we said it, like they have Be Prepared. They have Sisu. It's even easier for them, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So
So no, it's a weird matchup, but you're going to see some of them. And if you're already playing that in core and that's what you have as a deck, it's a totally valid deck to play. Like you're going to have harder matchups, but you can still take wins here and there with it.
that was like the main draw of that deck when rotation came. People were like, "Oh, we're basically not losing anything
Yeah,
or
it was a
very little."
rotation proof deck that was fairly cheap. It's still fairly cheap. So there's that.
Mm.
Purple Steel,
So
or the core deck with bounce.
exactly, we're talking about core decks. Let's talk about more core decks in Infinity. So this is basically if you have the most like the absolute most popular deck in core right now, you can just buy about $12 worth of bounce package with Madam Mim and
You're generous
Merlin.
with $12. I was about to say $5 worth of cards. So
I don't even know how much Madam Mim and Merlin
because
goes.
basically the changes you change the one drops where you put decks, Churn Dog Followers, and Magic Broom
Mm-hmm.
to get like more card draw out of your card draw. So your one drops are just more efficient than they were.
Yeah.
You put like the bounce package, the Bim Fox, the crabs. Some people put the snakes in. I don't think it's necessary at this point, but if you really want to do it, you can. A really fun thing is Cheshire Cat. If you've used it a few times and you pick up a fox, you can use it to just draw all those cards. Really cool. You have your Dumbos, your Genies. You put in the goats to like have
Burn.
better burn than just the White Rose, and top it off with a few with a few Hades, and yeah, you basically have a very efficient purple steel list. Our friend Claude won the Sunday event with just like a stock purple steel from set 8. No
Yeah.
Dumbos, no nothing, just like stuck purple steel from set 8,
Some interesting
and went
choices. He
all the
was
way to like top 1 of the Sunday Infinity event in Milwaukee. So
well. I can see how things that are very, I want to say, efficiently costed can kind of outvalue blue decks. You can kind of deal with aggro decks. So it's.
yeah,
I
if you
thought,
always have more cards in hand than the blue deck, you're usually gonna win regardless. You're gonna exhaust their removal.
and that's the thing. Like when he said that, oh, I'm doing the Infinity Challenge with the Purple Steel, I was just like, that's an interesting choice. Meaning, I wasn't quite sure about it,
Yeah, no,
and
I
like,
wasn't sure either, but
yeah, well, it, I guess it was good. It was good enough. It 7-0'd.
and in the event, and that's an interesting take, but I think for once it might be valid. So if you're playing a list that is closer to what was played at the end of set 8, so you're playing, or even during set 9, where you're playing some genies for evasive removal and like a little bit more steel cards, it might be worth to put one or two Plutos, the new steel champion, just because when you play your steel characters, you banish items. And we're in a meta in Infinity where items matter. Being able to remove those items and not feed the Hiram is a key part of the play. It's not something you should tech against, but given that every single steel character removing a character is going to gain you 2 lore, and that you can remove items by just playing your steel characters, this is a deck where it could fit.
Yeah, it's like it speeds up your clock significantly, and
Yeah, against aggro, aggro won't be willing to tap out ever if you have a Pluto on board.
exactly.
So like that might be a card you want to consider because you have your Calhouns, you have your Smees, you have your Cobras, you have your Peats, and then if you're running the Genie with evasive during your turn and maybe a Heron or something like that, well then again you might have the critical mass of steel characters necessary for that.
Yeah, you. I think you would have to tweak a bit with what you see
Oh
here.
yeah, it's not enough to include, but
Because here it's like a very much a more purple deck than a
yep.
steel deck, but you can find workarounds. I think you would have to kind of sacrifice a bit of the bounce package, in my opinion, either the bounce package or the evasive package,
Yeah,
depending
or
on what
if you
you.
prefer removing the Diablos in favor of Hook, for example,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
there's ways to do it if that's what you're expecting, or if someone you're going to play is playing the Maurice Workshop version of items, where like they rely on their items absolutely. Well, that's a good counter to Maurice Workshop.
Mm. Still, like you have to be bold to be running Morse Workshop when you still have access to Hiram, right?
Oh, you have to, but I saw it like at Milwaukee, so some
Yeah,
people are still doing it.
yeah, I understand.
And the final deck we wanted to talk about today, the discard deck, but uh, Amethyst Emerald discard, which is not a deck we saw a whole lot of during its time in core, but is
L-
definitely an interesting one with some of the new spices.
let's call it what it is. It's Diablo Tribal.
Yeah, Diablo Tribal.
So you have like a whole bunch of Diablos. You always want your Diablo devoted herald on the board. Uh, we discovered like at the tail end of set 8 that this color combination was really pesky because you had a lot of evasives with like you had a lot of evasives that were quite aggressive questers with a discard package. When the deck was ticking, like was just aligning exactly on what you wanted, like discarding and giving you card advantage when you needed to, and then shifting to like the to racing towards the finish line exactly when you needed to. It was amazing, but as soon as you kind of were dephased and you were not doing exactly what the game was, I want to say, dictating you to do.
Yeah, lining up to do.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a bit harder. Like you see here, you have some help with the Dumbos that are.
The Dumbbells are helping. The addition of the 4 Hades, like in a matchup where your opponent is already going to have an empty hand, giving them the choice of removing their only card on board or giving you even more card advantage is going to be a really tough task for them. So that's a really interesting inclusion here. Um,
We have the package of
like
pull
Sudden
deliver.
Chill, We Don't Talk, Pull the Lever, Wrong Lever. But what I really like is the one of Max Goof because
Mm,
when you have your Sudden Chills and your friends, and then you have the opportunity to just, oh, take it back, play it again, it's even more of those either discards or card draw at your fingertips. They only put one in that version of the deck.
I would even go
Like
up to two.
yeah, like there's a lot of one ofs, two ofs. I would probably cut a chip, put a second max in there. I prefer the max personally, but like that is a very nice core with which to have a lot of fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the tier 2 deck if you consider that like if you look at how Index was dividing it, I would say that they were a bit harsh, saying that only items and aggro are tier 1, and tier 2 is contains Control and Steel Song. I think Control and Steel Song in their own right are tier 1 or tier 1.5, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. And but I think it's the discard in Amethyst Emerald is the most interesting tier 2, like really tier 2 deck,
Yeah.
because you can really tweak it to kind of attack whatever you want to be attacking. It's kind of the exact opposite of Churn Dogs, where I felt that you're kind of at the mercy of everything, and here you're just like, oh, I'm really gonna target, like, I know people in my at my locals will be bringing a lot of blue steel, so I'm gonna target that.
You can really like play it however you want, and that's a fun and interesting deck. Of course, you're going to be labeled as a toxic player for playing this card. Do with that as you wish.
Yeah. Maybe I want to take like a few seconds to just touch upon like tier 3 and 4 and whatever
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is there. What I find interesting, like tier 3 is either core lists repurposed or old uh, pre-rotation core lists that you kind of sprinkle in some new cards, just like evasives. Like you can play Ruby Amethyst, that was like the boogeyman of the first year, first 2 years of Lorcana, and now you repurpose it as an evasive deck, and you just slap on a bunch of Dumbos and
Yeah, you take the end of set 8 list with the Peter Pan Shadow Finder that gives like rush to your evasives and a bunch of evasive and the shark and all of that, and you just slap 4 Dumbos onto it, and yeah, you have a deck.
yeah. Same thing with discard, green steel discard, that used to be one of my favorite archetypes. Well, mine was like mid range more than discard, but you can
Yeah.
still like slap in some max goof, the
Yeah, the big
chart
max
topper,
goof.
yeah, the
Yeah,
chart topper, and to just like have an insane engine with like Ursula double singing, Max Goof, recurring song that goes to the graveyard, and like just amassing a lot of value.
basically.
But yeah, I think these decks will kind of be found to be lackluster. They will have, I want to say, limited success in this weekend's events. I think you should probably really look towards the tier 1, tier 2 decks if you're inclined to really compete. If you're just nostalgic about old cards, please be my guest and go for the tier 3, tier 4 cards. Like, if I
But
didn't
more
have,
importantly than specifically which deck to choose, which, we talked a bit about, we have explored decks here. I will urge you, if you have the opportunity locally to go try Infinity at the event, it is the best time to do so. First of all, you're going to get a gorgeous Whole New World card in non-foil. But more than that, like, the format is genuinely some of the most fun you can have in Lorcana right now. And, like, go try it out. And if you like it, talk to your stores about making like events. Usually people don't know what to do once the store championships are done and before the set rotation. It's a gorgeous time to play Infinity and just explore that format. So whatever
yeah,
you do, if you have the opportunity to play this weekend, to play the format, take that opportunity. Even if you just bring your regular core deck there, it's valid. You can bring it, you can play it. But
and
try the format out. It is an amazing format.
like I want to wink at the fact that next DLCs are going to be core, but the third DLCs that are coming to us around this summer in Dormant, and I think it Indianapolis or Minneapolis, I don't remember.
Indy. Yeah,
Indy,
Indianapolis.
it's in Indy, right. There are gonna be Infinity.
Infinity Team.
So if you are inclined to start like getting a feel for the format, seeing the speed of it, because if you joined the game like recently, around set 7, 8, even like you joined after rotation in set 9 or 10, you might not be used to playing against Be
Hiram.
Prepared, Hiram, and like all of these old cards. Like get a feel for it because the speed is not the same. The power level is not the same. It feels a lot more powerful
Oh
than what
yeah,
we're doing in core right now.
and it is like a very much different thrill. So no, please go try it. It's a lot of fun. We will definitely be doing that both Saturday and Sunday in my case.
Yeah, same here.
So we might see you in a local game store, but go enjoy it. We're going to be back right afterwards before the holiday breaks. There's still going to be at least one stream before that.
Hmm.
But until then, keep questing.